Russian soldiers overseas.
Thank you. I'd like to just get on to Mr.
Yes.
Fletcher. Another question on the in an interview with the Los Angeles Times on April 21st, you said that you told the Associated Press that the American government has created weather tampering techniques so that the New World Order will be able to starve millions of Americans and to control the rest. Would you explain what you were trying to say?
Well, what I was trying to say is exactly what I said. There is weather control techniques. We have a complete package on that, which I did not bring, but I certainly will see to it that it is brought in for the record. Number one, the entire patents on the equipment. Number two, Senator Claiborne Pell's complete statement and story of his own that not only does it exist, but that we even utilize it as far back as the Vietnam War. You might want to touch base with Senator Pell.
I just want to repeat before I turn to
So yes, but we do have all that information.
You're saying the government has created weather tampering techniques so that the, quote, New World Order will be able to starve millions of Americans.
Worldwide.
Millions of Americans, and to control the rest.
Yes, sir. And that's...
All right, guys, welcome in, welcome back. It's Sunday night. Every Sunday night, we do the 16-day forecast and hopefully give everybody a couple of weeks to prepare for whatever they might be bringing on us. Shout out to Adam out there at the Marfugal for letting me talk to his listeners last night and give them a little awakening of what's going on in the skies. And then just crazy. We're going to jump into a few headlines before we jump into that 16-day forecast. Severe storm hits down in southeast Queensland, bringing giant hailstones, destructive winds. Hailstones the size of cricket balls fell in the Sunshine Coast as parts of Brisbane and Sunshine Coast were hit by storms on Sunday afternoon. Got tons of videos. All these links are in the description if you want to come and watch all these videos of this mega hail. Man, it was knocking holes in commercial buildings and then started leaking crazy clouds, busted windshields everywhere. But what's really crazy is last night on Marfugal, I was talking to him about David Miles and the Miles Research Company that does weather modifications down in Tasmania, Australia. He's done them in the Horn of Alaska or Horn of Africa, down in Texas. He spoke at the UN before on this weather machine that he uses. But anyway, check this out on the mainstream news. This just come out. And this is nuts. Okay, let's check this out. We don't want to con anyone. Inventor charging $50,000 for rain denies preying on farmers. An inventor is promising his device can change the lives of farmers for $50,000. Some say it has, but he won't reveal how it works. This controversial inventor accused of preying on vulnerable farmers by promising to make it rain has insisted there's no way to con anyone. David Miles from the research company has been peddling weather modification technology for nearly 2 decades, previously under the name Wxxx, which was Victorian government highly criticized in 2006. Mr. Miles is currently offering 3-month rain contracts to farmers in Victoria's grain belt for $50,000 on success basis. The competition regulator has warned against doing business with him, but says it is powerless to stop him. And, there, as you go down through the article, there's people say, yeah, man, he's helped our farms out. But it's pretty crazy that the mainstream media is actually talking about him. It's pretty weird how they word this here. On the website, he claims he can create a bridge in the space-time continuum to model the weather 10 days into the future, then apply small amounts of energy intelligently to bring the desired outcome through the butterfly effect. The key to the whole thing, we found a way to link a model of near future weather with actual flight corridor of approaching weather for any given target. This guy's been modifying the weather for a long time, but you had that crazy storm at the same time that they're doing weather modification in, you know, down in Australia. So it's pretty crazy. We were talking about him last night, and then all of a sudden on the mainstream news, it comes right out. In fact, we have a little clip of him that will play a little bit of it for any of the new people that might be joining us over here. If you have not heard this guy, I'm going to play a little clip of what he does. So here's a little clip of him, and this is from mainstream news too. So for people that don't believe that the weather is being modified, here is a clip.
We can bring in the oceanic rain, and we need to be conscious it's not about delivering rain on land, it's about nurturing a rain system that can promote agriculture and protect the people involved. So in all cases we want to make sure we don't get flooding, but we can deliver timely rain in a gentle soaking manner into agricultural targets. Technology relies on a signal that we're able to generate that triggers a response from atmospheric patterns. So we're able to observe this using satellite meteorology, extensively available now to everyone who's got access to broadband internet. But we're able to utilize that signal sent in sequence to generate a incremental deviation in the flow path of these oceanic atmospheric rivers. So the source is the ocean, of course. The vapor, precipitable moisture flow is in the atmosphere. The winds drive this with the pressure systems adjusting the path of least resistance. But our technology is able to interface that and hack into it, if you like, and make some micro adjustments to allow deviations to occur in the flow pathways. And this is how we broke the drought in Australia in 2005. This is how we put out the fires of Victoria from Black Saturday in 2009. This is how we delivered rain in the desert in Saudi Arabia in 2007 and snow for the first time in history in 2004 in United Arab Emirates. There's been other projects above the radar and some under the radar, but today for the first time we're putting our hand up in front of the media to say this is available. We're going to run this project here to break the drought in the Horn of Africa. We're meeting with Cabinet, Federal Cabinet for Kenya and the Prime Minister and other parties and authorities in the region. We've met extensively with United Nations teams and agencies, and we're planning to do this in the most careful manner. Firstly, to bring some gentle rain in to give food for the crop, food for the cattle and the livestock, so milk can be produced, so the human survivability can go up. Once that survivability's gone up, then we can look at more substantial rains that can be suitable for crop.
What is this technology?
Essentially, we're drawing oceanic rain systems that exist over the oceans into geographic targets, into our agricultural areas. The technology uses electromagnetics, so we're not interfering with the atmosphere or with the environment. We're not damaging it. We're not using chemicals fired through rockets like other technologies use. We use a very gentle but powerful technology, launching electromagnetics into the atmosphere to modify the flow of the weather system over the ocean and drawing it into a target. So to try and keep it simple, we establish some kind of link with a weather system, and once we've seen through satellite meteorology that we have that link, we're able to draw that system in incrementally towards the target, such as in this case the Horn of Africa.
Mahendra, you call this project the Global Rain Project. Why the Global Rain Project?
Well, let me just step back. Ever since the beginning of civilization, mankind has diverted rivers on earth to wherever we wanted to practice agriculture. Now we look at the atmosphere. The oceanic, 90% of the rain, more than 90% of the rain falls on the ocean. Sure. It's only about less than 5% on earth. So the 90% that is above the oceans, these are fundamentally atmospheric rivers. And just the way we harvested rivers on Earth, we should be harvesting now with new technology the rivers above the oceans and moving them to a target area. Now, why is it global? Global because climate is changing. We see the floods that are on, the droughts that are on. So weather is being modified by human activities and by natural phenomena. And today we have developed the technology, and I'm convinced that in 30 years we will be able to confront climate change with technology with which we can modify weather patterns. It's weather modification, because climate change has two elements. It gets hotter temperature and the precipitation changes. So moisture patterns change. Now imagine when we get rain, temperature goes down. So when you think of climate change, which is hotter areas, and that's the challenge we have in sub-Saharan Africa, that it will get hotter. Many areas that produce crops will not be viable. So it is a global phenomena which requires global action, and that is why we are committed to put this in the humanitarian arena to begin with. And it should be governed and utilized at the global level by the global community.
All right, guys. So there you go. Steering the rivers of the sky. Now, the same company was called Aquas and Sky Blue back in 2012. They stole California's rain, and it changed the pattern of the atmospheric river for around 7 years. You can go back and look at all the crazy weather that happened down in Texas when they were down there doing their weather enhancement experiments. But pretty crazy, he's coming back out on the mainstream news. Everybody always asks, why do they not use it for good? Because it's a weapon. They'll never use it for good. I mean, he used it once for good this year down in Tasmania. He put the fires out. Now, he's a private contractor. He doesn't go through the government, but he is trying to get connected in with the UN. So, you know, who knows? To me, any kind of weather modification is wrong. So we got more articles coming out in Australia about how they need to brace for the drought. Like, how do they know it's going to be a drought? Because it's a scheduled drought. Everything is scheduled. Even like here in Missouri, it almost rains every single Wednesday going into Thursday. That's like our scheduled rain day. And if you pay really close attention, you'll get your rains almost always on the same days. It's all scheduled. Now we got this Queensland's brush fires trigger asthma as air quality gets worse than Zimbabwe's in parts of the southeast. Same thing is going on in California. New satellite measurements show how polluted the Los Angeles air really is. Not one thing in this article tells you about the bunker fuel operations that were going on the West Coast, and they're back. They're not as bad, but we're going to get into that. Another thing down here, helicopter drops rodent poison killing chickens, turkeys. So in the Freewater, Oregon, homeowners in a Milton Freewater neighborhood are demanding answers as they say a helicopter accidentally dropped hundreds of rodent poison pellets in their yards. They said they heard the helicopter flying low around their house on Triangle Station Road on Thursday afternoon and decided to go outside to investigate. Right after the helicopter flew directly over her house, she felt something fall on her. She looked around and saw hundreds of pellets all over. They've been doing this for years. They've dropped rabies vaccines from the sky. I mean, down in like Australia and stuff, they drop tons of the 1080. And then if your dog or something eats something that was killed by it, then it kills them. They never use anything for good. This is all just total destruction. You know, and why all these fires are going on down in Australia, you can see that this was all pre-planned, and they cut funding by 75% before all these fires happened a few months ago. Now here's a new rule. There's a ludicrous new rule that could ban thousands of firefighters banned from battling the deadly brush fires. The volunteers are required to lodge a blue card application before December 1st The new rule could see 15,000 volunteer firefighters banned from fighting fires. It has raised concerns that there will not be enough volunteers to fight these deadly fires. See, this is all planned, man. They want this thing to burn completely to the coast. And, and then we're getting the same thing. Northern California, fire season may just be getting started. This just come out today. But I got news. You guys got some rain coming in. So if they start blazing off some fires, it's going to probably be very soon. Or maybe they'll use the rain that's coming in to say the lightning starts the fire. So heads up on the West Coast. We got to watch this very close. Now, I wanted to get into this article, this Wall Street Journal article. It came out yesterday. When the U.S. tried to control hurricanes from the 1940s to the 1970s, Project Storm Fury and other government efforts tested the limits of power of science. And I can't get in here. I ain't going to subscribe for, I don't want to pay to get on this site. But I'll leave the link in case any of you guys have this membership for this. But I really wanted to see what was in there. Maybe I'll try to get in there some other way later. Then this come out a couple days ago. Size of thunderstorm dome clouds may predict tornado intensity. See, they have to keep coming out with all these new terms and new ways to forecast because all this stuff is man-made. You can steer tornadoes. You can steer lightning. I've gone over it before. It's all being manipulated. And hopefully we can show that to more and more people, and they'll see, and they'll start demanding answers and for it to stop. All right, so here's a study that came out a while back, a couple years ago. Study proves microwave radiation directly affects your heart. Why you need to ditch your microwave oven. This kind of research came out years ago. And the same thing with the 5G, the millimeter waves, it's the same kind of electromagnetic smog. We're being inundated with it. But yet they'll keep trying to hide the real information on it. Here goes we're noticing that China's taking over more and more ports. They're buying American farmlands up. Well, guess what? It's going on down in Australia. The South Pacific is home to some of the most beautiful islands in the world. Australians generally think that these neighboring countries are sunny playgrounds for the postcard holidays, but China sees them as an invaluable asset. They're spending tons of money out here. They're trying to take like 75-year leases from, there's some crazy stuff going on with the communist area here by taking over a lot of different places' land. Now, I was going to get into this. The glacier in Russian Arctic goes from moving 60 feet a year to 60 feet a day. That's almost crazy right there. But what they don't tell you about anywhere in this article, they don't tell you about the accidental geoengineering. They don't tell you anything about the cloud brightening. They don't tell you about the ionospheric heating that's being done. They don't talk about nothing that really matters. It's just more propaganda. Now, people always ask me, what are in these aerosols that are coming out of the back of these planes, out of the sprayers, out of the exhaust? Well, right here, I'm over here on the Clouds Matter over on the climateviewer.com. The IPCC reports on aviation pollution confirm that aluminum, titanium, chromium, iron, nickel, barium are emitted by the jet aircraft. Here's the elements detected in the jet fuel. And you can see the new JP8 is 9,360 parts per billion, showing that the barium's at 38. I mean, there's tons of stuff in this, in these aerosols that are being deployed. The strontium up to 351 parts per million, titanium 1,056. Wonder why they don't have the plastics in here. But these are the doped up jet fuel that are creating these cirrus clouds. Cirrus clouds are the plane trails. And, you know, and then you can really get a lot deeper into that if we go into the nanotechnology and all that stuff. And I really don't have all that like set up, so I'm not going to get into that right now. We'll get into that another night. But we're going to be getting into the 16-day forecast here in just a second. So check this out. So here's the fires. This was yesterday's, or actually the 16th. Now when I move this up to today, they're not letting us see what's going on. There's something wrong with the worldview map. This is today, and it's only loaded this little thing. We can go back to yesterday. It's loaded all the way up till right here. So they are hiding data from yesterday from the whole West Coast. The whole Pacific Ocean is being hid. And also the Australia area up in Alaska. So they're hiding this whole area for days now. Like I said, we go up to today. That's all we get. One little spot down here. Something is going on. Something they're hiding. And they don't want us to see it on the West Coast. Now, if I go right here, here's the timeline. This would be yesterday's. Or actually probably the 15th. This would be the 15th. So I still can't get to even Friday's maps. So this really sucks, man. Something's going on with this. So this is going to not really affect us. It helps us in seeing the aerosols, but we got other ways around it, which we're going to get into. Now, before we jump into the 16-day forecast, I want to see if this runs through. These blue lines, the real light blue lines that are curving and the crisscross patterns, if you can see these are the bunker fuel. These are the ships out here. They're back. They must have refueled. They were gone for 2 or 3 days, and now they're back out here right off the coast of Northern California where they're calling for the fires. Then you have a smaller operation down off the coast of the Bajas. And I don't know if this is going to load for us. Try stopping it, do it one frame at a time. And there's another thing that you can see here. There's a mass spraying operation right here at the border of California and Oregon. I mean, it's just a mass aerosol deployment. Here, I'll show you. Oh, what the heck is going on with these pages? So the bunker fuel is down here, down south, but I wanted to show you the darker blue lines. That is the aerosols from the planes. You're going to see this targeted spraying event. Right, here's the border. So all the way out here in the Pacific, right off the coast of Oregon, Northern California, right where they're calling for the fires, we have a targeted aerosol bombardment right here. And it goes all the way up through BC. So just a major spraying operation. Let me see if I can go farther south to see if we could pick up the bunker fuel operations. And then we'll get into the 16-day forecast. So right there, I can already see the X. Hopefully this will come in clear for you guys. If not, when we're done in the video processes, you could always come back and fast forward to this part so that you can see it a little better. Now, I may have to go a little farther north, but so the bunker fuel operations were off, and now they start pumping out the bunker fuel again. And as soon as this starts turning back into the night, it'll show up a little bit better. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with the these radars. So we're seeing the lower operation. We're not seeing the upper. I need to go up a little bit higher. Yeah, here we go. That's the one we need. So look at these guys out here, man. They're out here pumping the sky up, and then they wonder why the air quality is bad. Well, you're dumping tons of sulfur out here. You can go look up the ingredients in the bunker fuel. You know, they're a little bit different than the aerosols. The black lines are the aerosols from the aircraft, and then when this cycles through, these white lines are the bunker fuel ship operations, the Pandora fog. They actually did a really big dump, just kind of a almost like an orb dump. Let me pause that and back it up so you guys can see that. So right here they dropped a big blob of bunker fuel. Just go to Wikipedia. If you don't know what bunker fuel is, look it up on Wikipedia. It's like the leftovers of refining gas, and it's the most toxic emissions on the planet. And they're dumping it out here on purpose. So anyway, let's jump into the 16-day forecast. So right here, I want to show you guys this. This is the next 16 days of snow. And let's see if I can zoom in on this so you can see a little better. Now you can see snow and the amounts here over California, over 32 inches of snow. And as you go on up the coast through Washington, Oregon, you get up here into Washington and up through BC, you're looking at over 50 inches of snow in the next 2 weeks. So it's going to be a pretty big snow event. Not only that, let's put this on the moisture. And this will be the full 16 days. This tells us where the target zones are of the weather plan. So you can see in the Midwest, we get some pretty good amounts of moisture over the next couple of weeks. But over here in California, look, they're going to bring the rain in. And then as you go on up the coast, you see lots of rain for northern Oregon, tons of rain, flooding rain up in Washington, and it gets even worse the farther you go up into British Columbia. So it looks like if they're going to have to start these fires, they better do it quick, because here in the next 2 weeks, there's going to be a bunch of moisture that's going to be coming through on the West Coast. So here we are. We'll take this up 6 hours at a time. And then you'll see how the rain will start populating over Washington, Oregon. It'll start creeping down towards California. The Baja is going to get a lot of rain. You're going to get some flooding rain in Arizona. So your monsoon season is way late. So look at this. The rain won't start, if I remember right, back on our last 16-day forecast. I thought it was around November 27th. And it's actually taking a little bit longer to get there. So we're looking, you know, before the rain starts here, around December 1st. So around December 1st, that's when they're going to start bringing the waves of snow and rain into the West Coast. So basically, we got a couple weeks to really be watching for fires. And then right after the fires, this rain will start coming in. So let's go ahead and go jump into the 16-day forecast. Let me get over there. Now what we'll do is we're going to go through this. We'll kind of look at the crucial days. And if, you know, kind of pay attention to your area, write down, you know, when we see what might be coming, write it down so you'll know. You'll have a couple week warning. What we're going to do is going to go 6 hours at a time and just kind of see what's going on. So the first, 18 hours, not going to be a whole lot of nothing going on. Here comes the rain for the upper northwest here on Tuesday, November 19th. You're going to have an ice storm up in the far northeast. Snow and ice. Look at that ice. Freezing rain. It's going to start on Tuesday. So Tuesday is going to be a pretty good weather maker up here for the upper northeast. And a little bit there in Wisconsin. Snow over here in Idaho, Montana. Same day. So let's go into the 20th. We got some okay snow that's going to be tracking across Minnesota, Wyoming. And then here starts the monsoons down in Arizona, parts of New Mexico. Here we are on Wednesday, the 20th. Get a little bit of rain and snow down there, just pockets up in the higher elevations. And this thing's just going to track right across. So here's where it's going to start getting a little tricky. You got a little bit of a wind event going across South Dakota, Kansas, or not really Kansas, that's Nebraska. And look at these heavy thunderstorms down here in Arizona. And then you got snow up in the mountains. We're talking pretty heavy snow, 4 to 6 inches. So then this low pressure really kind of tightens up. So it's going to be a wind event with snow. So you're up in the Minnesota area, South Dakota, it's going to be like a blizzard up there on the 21st. This is next Thursday. And it's going to track right up where every single storm has tracked all summer long. See, the atmospheric river has been pulled up through Texas and right up through the Midwest, and then it exits right over Wisconsin, and then right up into Canada, Quebec, and all them areas. See, until they move the atmospheric river, we're just going to keep getting pounded in these same areas. That's what I'm talking about. If we get some kind of snow event this winter, I mean, we could be seeing, you know, hundreds of inches of snow. So it could be a pretty crazy winter. Here on Friday, November 22nd, you're going to get a little bit of heavy flooding rain in the Boot Hill, Missouri, a little bit of light snow up into the north central Missouri. But then we got these thin thunderstorms. So these could be producing some pretty good straight line winds with some heavy downpours. You got a wind event here on November 23rd, not associated with any kind of weather, but it's just going to be crazy wind. So it's going up to the next system here. Hopefully this one here will stay off the coast here on Sunday, November 24th. Down in the Carolinas, Georgia, over Florida, you're going to get a little bit of some rain showers. And just hope this thing keeps off the coast, because it's pretty powerful low system, and it looks like it will stay away. Here comes our tropical storm that's going to be coming up through the Bajas. Now, they may try to blast this thing away. We'll see. So a little bit of light snow for Washington, Oregon on the 25th, next Monday. So let's track this up till we see something a little bit more major. So here we go. Here comes the bigger stuff. So starting on November 26th, Tuesday of next week, heavy rain is going to start coming in the Washington area, Oregon, Northern California. It looks like it's going to stay pretty much right on the coast, and then snow up in the mountains. And at the same time, look at this low develop right smack in the same area, right here at the four corners of Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas. Pretty strong system, pretty good wind event. I mean, that's some pretty deep snow right there. That's 4 inches of snow in just like 6 hours here on the 27th. And it's got some wind. So that baby is going to be tracking across right through the Ohio Valley, which it looks like most of it's going to stay rain once it gets off to the east. But you're talking heavy rain. So let's just take this up. You're going to see wave after wave of rain hitting Washington, Oregon. That's where the atmospheric river from the Pacific is coming from. Then you got the atmospheric river coming up through the Gulf of Mexico. And here's where it gets really interesting here on November 30th. There could be tornadoes up here on November 30th. Believe it or not, we could be looking at tornadoes up for Washington, Oregon on November 30th. And then after that, it's just going to keep raining right there. You got severe weather just right off the coast. And then here comes the rain event for California. Rain for the lower parts, snow in the upper elevations. But this is, you know, this low pressure of 985. That's almost like a hurricane low pressure. Wind event coming in the wrong direction. But this is going to, you know, wash away any evidence of any fires. If any fires get ignited before this system comes, this is going to be the system to wash away the evidence. I mean, we're talking heavy snow up in the mountains and heavy flooding rains, mudslides, you name it. We're probably going to see it all right here. And then you got a wind event coming in again. So you got that low pressure is just going to keep pounding right there off the coast, bringing pretty good waves of rain and snow for California. Even all the way down right over San Francisco. Then a secondary low pressure comes of 994 again. So the target is the West Coast for this 2-week period. So you guys are getting a heads up now. If you live out here in California, I'm letting you know right now, you got severe weather. You got rain, you got mudslides, you got snow, super heavy snow. You're going to be getting it all here at the end of the month, going all the way up into December 3rd. So check it out, man. They're targeting California. The monsoons are going to start down in Arizona, going up through Nevada. So the rain is coming. And we talked about that several weeks ago, how California will start getting their rain in November, December. And here it is. So the only thing that will change these forecast models is any kind of weather modification that we see, like the bunker fuel ships, like the aerosols being deployed. You know, when we see that stuff, we'll have to kind of figure out if they're dropping the rain retardant or if they're dropping the cloud seeding. Now, we've seen them overseed the skies so bad that it didn't rain before. But I think we're getting good enough at watching these things that we'll be able to figure it out, no problem. So I'm going to put this little enhancement on here, and I want you to look. Let me slow this down or I'll just control it. Now you can see, hopefully you guys can see this. I don't know if I can zoom in or zoom out to make it bigger. I don't like how they got this thing set up. But hopefully you guys can see this. So the aerosols are being deployed not only down here where the bunker fuel operators are. Now this is the aerosols coming out of the planes. All these straight lines. Mass targeted area. Right up the coast of Washington, Oregon. All of Northern California. Right through Nevada. This is a target zone right here. Right over the same area. Paradise, California. The Ridgecrest area. Or that might be a little farther south, but yeah, this is a huge target for these aerosols. They're spraying at night, and then you got a massive spraying operation out here in the Pacific. It actually goes way out, but look at that. Look right here, all these long, straight white lines. That's the planes laying them down, loading up the sky so that we have fake synthetic clouds. And we'll take a little bit bigger overview of this. No, not sometimes they can stop the rain. Sometimes it's for rain enhancement. It depends. Like they do a lot of rain retardant down in Florida. Like a lot of times they don't want the rain to come in, so they'll use a drying agent. But see, we have aerosols out here too. This is for that secondary system. But this is a huge targeted area right here where they're dropping the aerosols. And what I've noticed, at least here in Missouri, when we see the aerosols within 2 days, that's normally when we get the moisture. So it takes a couple of days for this to interact with the atmosphere. You know, and a lot of the spraying that they're doing here over the Washington, Oregon area, that may not affect the storm till they get over here, you know, by Nebraska or whatever. So we'll just have to see. We got to see what they're doing with the jet stream winds. But yes, mega spraying operation out here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the whole United States and see if we see any big mass spraying operations. Yeah, they never use this for good. That's the thing. Like they can put fires out. They can stop dust storms. They can do all kinds of stuff, but that's not what they want. They want to create the climate chaos so everybody believes that the global warming is happening, even though that we're going into a cool down period. It's just to create division and havoc. That's what it is. So tons of aerosols are also being deployed down here in Texas, Louisiana. Let's see if I can zoom in on them and get a little better view of it. And hopefully this thing will load up. Yeah, that really sucks they're censoring the worldview map. I noticed nobody else is getting that getting it to load either. So something is going on. You know, that's why we try all these other satellite systems so that we can see what really is going on. So yeah, you got a pretty good controlled area there. Not like, look, here's the spraying operation right over Mississippi, Tennessee. You guys are getting bombarded. I'm going to zoom in on this area here because that's a definite bombardment of your skies. Just take a look down here in the south. And thanks to everybody out there that's come over from the Marfugel family here. Glad you guys could join us and learn what's really going on with the weather, man. We do this every single night. We got to stay on top of the controlled weather. We got to keep on waking the people so that we can maybe try to do something about this. But look at this spraying in northern Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, bombarding the skies right here. These are all man-made synthetic clouds, and even up in the north you're getting a little spraying. And look at this, northern Arkansas, or that's Louisiana right there. So just total wipeout of the skies down here, all the way out into the Gulf of Mexico. So we just mega spray. Look at these sprays up here in Tennessee. Let me try to get that where we can see it a little better. So here, I'll just go up to there. We'll get a better look at this. Hey, no problem. We got to do this, man. Nobody else is going to do this. They're destroying the minds of the kids. They're trying to normalize that the plane clouds are normal. There's nothing wrong. Look at this spraying operation right here in Tennessee. Man, that's insane right there. That is complete bombardment of Tennessee. You're getting smoked with the aerosols. Let's just zoom right in on that. That's undeniable right there. Did I click the right one? Yeah, P&G's turning off power, man. Be looking for, fires. Be looking for the lightning that could be catching fires. Who knows? We just got to keep watching them, man. We know this could get a little serious here on the West Coast, just like down in Australia. Hey, thanks out there, Brendan. And anybody else, if I missed you out there, sorry. But, yeah, look at this. It's going to be kind of blurry because we're so zoomed in. But there's that. It just looks like a baseball circle of aerosols. I mean, you got to wonder, how do these planes not crash into each other? Well, there's a reason they don't crash. They're all ran by AI. These spraying operations, there's an AI program that runs all this stuff. It tells the planes when to shut them off and on. It's all scheduled. It's all GPS driven and all that stuff. I've exposed the company before. And, every once in a while we'll go back and, rehash over some of this stuff. Yeah, it's hard enough getting people, to believe this, or at least getting them to pay attention to the skies for a few days. I mean, if you just watch the skies, you watch a perfectly blue sky go from blue to white, after some jets come by. That's an issue. That's a problem. That's not water vapor. Water vapor does not drift out and turn into a weather system. Hey, thanks out there, Robert. Much love out there. Nice crowd out there tonight. Thanks to everybody out there and all the new people jumping over here from the Marfugel family. Had a good time on there last night, and hopefully got some people a little more awake of what's going on. All right, so let me just check the worldview map one more time. The fires down here in Australia are just ridiculous. They're letting this burn. We've showed over previous broadcasts, this is right where the bullet train is going through. You also, in the beginning of the show, we talked about a weather modification company that's doing weather modification down here for the farmers. They had to pay them $50,000 to get the rain. So just insane stuff going on. Looks like the bad air quality is going to go right on down to New Zealand again. Looks like the Christchurch area is getting nailed with aerosols too. We'll let that clear up. The thing is, this is yesterday's radar. They're censoring out the map. I can't get past right here. All the red dots here on the map are the fires that are going on. And if I go up to today, is it loaded anymore? No, this is all they're giving us for today. One little speck. They're hiding something on these maps today. Pretty rare that it's not coming up. In fact, let's go check the mimic map real quick. Let's see, we got several storms still going. Tropical storm Clamiga. We still have tropical depression 26, and here's the tropical depression 21 that's going to go right on up to the Bajas. It's not really going to turn into a whole lot as of right now. And then we got a new Invest 90 out there. It's not going to do a whole lot. Just want to take a look at the rivers of the sky. This is what they steer. This is what a lot of these companies out here are steering. It's the rivers of the sky up in the troposphere. And we can see when they're affecting it. We can see when it's going in unnatural patterns. So here's the atmospheric river that's going in right to Washington, Oregon. Now they've been blocking this for months and months here in California. But they're going to let this thing come on down and let it hit. You're actually you got a lot of moisture coming right up through the Bajas too. And then the other atmospheric steering that's going on is where it comes right up through the Gulf of Mexico, right up towards the Great Lakes. It's been stuck there all summer long into fall, which we didn't really have fall. It just went straight to winter, just like it has the last couple of years. All right, one more thing we're going to look at. We're going to go take a look at the Earth's null school. And we're going to take a look at the polar vortex winds. We're going to look at a few other things. So right off the bat, I want to go down here and look and see if all the winds, look, all the winds are gone, just like we said last week. There's no polar vortex in the southern hemisphere. Look where it is. It's all up here in the north. So we just have a monster polar vortex winds, and you can see they have a trough right here, right going right over California. Let's take a look at the temperatures up here in the stratosphere. Look, they heated up. They're heating up the whole area now. Let me take the winds off. So we got ionospheric heating going on over Australia, and then all over the Antarctica and parts of South America. You know, if I back this up, you know, a couple months here, let's just go back like a couple months, see what the ionospheric heating. Let that load. I think I clicked apply. Try that again. Click apply. So see, this is where they are heating the ionosphere, and then we get these, you know, signatures that are going on. Let me put this back on now. So yeah, see, we're getting heated here, but now they have the super cold air up here in the Arctic to work with. So that's what we got to watch. Now I looked at the next 2 weeks at temperatures. Nothing super cold coming down yet, but just wait, it'll get here. I want to go ahead and check the jet streams real quick, document this. We know the bunker fuel operations are right here. Smaller operation than normal, but look how they're tweaking out the jet stream. They got this super tight trough that goes all the way down past below Hawaii and then back up over into Washington, Oregon. Pretty crazy. Let's go ahead and check the waves. Now we got a mega wave machine going on out here. Let's check the wave heights. We got 54.7 foot waves just to the tip of Greenland. I mean, that is crazy. Let's see how far we can fast forward this thing. It looks like it's headed for like Portugal, Spain, Europe. It's going to drop down pretty good, thankfully. So there, you know, you're looking at 20 to 30 foot waves. There's supposed to be some kind of big waves right now off the coast of Florida and the Carolinas. So we're looking at almost 20 foot waves right now. But that is a beast up there. 55 foot waves, 53. So like a wave machine being generated. Wouldn't want to be in that in a boat, I can tell you that. All right, so that's the waves. Just gonna go through that real quick. All right, let's go check the air quality. Now we're looking at the excuse me there, carbon monoxide. This is at the surface, so this is like at land level, and you can see the toxicity of the air right here going up through the Bajas, really bad in Southern California, and going, you know, all the way up to mid California. It looks like the fires and the methane leaks have gone way down up there in BC area. Horrible air around the Great Lakes right now and over on the East Coast. Here's a volcano right here. Now look at that. That's way worse than a volcano. India's always nasty. China's horrible. Let's check Australia. You can see the fires are putting off quite a bit. Let's go ahead and check the carbon dioxide. See it going right on down to New Zealand. And see, here we are. Horrible levels of carbon dioxide out off the coast. So you got, and especially over here by the Great Lakes, toxic air. Now, you guys hear me talk a lot about the bunker fuel operations. If you look at these long straight lines, these are the shipping lanes. These big cargo ships and cruise liners put off so much sulfur dioxide that this satellite can pick it up. Now what's happening is with all these pollutants that are coming from these ships, it's adding tons of nano metal particulates up into the sky, which is making all the storms more electrified. That's why we're seeing more and more people being killed by lightning. We're seeing crazy lightning storms. It's because so much metal is being injected into our skies. It's just making things more conductive. Now we're going to go ahead and check the PM 2.5s. And yeah, the air quality is just horrible here in California. You know, we can see the Sahara dust is not quite getting to us. So that's good. It's been really probably the worst year ever for the Sahara dust that's been coming over, you know, 5,000 miles, inundating all our rain gauges. And yeah, this is going to load for us, so pretty much, see if I can get this to play. It probably won't play. I really want to get it on the nighttime. Let's just see if that'll load real quick. That's daytime. I'm trying to get this on a nighttime view so we can see. Yeah, this will get us a little closer. I want to pull out these bunker fuel operations down here off the coast. So you got a initial bunker fuel. You can see the grid patterns. Looks like tic-tac-toe. Here's the second one. These things are cruising really fast. So I had this set up on every 15 minutes. So this thing, you know, they're booking, man. They're not like normal ships. The black lines, that's actually the aerosols by the planes. Anyway, guys, we're going to go ahead and call this a show. I want to thank everybody that joins us nightly and shares this information out, trying to get people awake to all this madness that's going on. We got the timer going on down there in the bottom right corner. That's until the YouTube purge. So we got 22 days left. So we'll just see how that goes. Make sure you subscribe to all the backup channels and bookmark them. Even if you don't, get on the sites, just bookmark that. That way, if we end up not on YouTube anymore, you can find us. Make sure you subscribe to the AGWN backup channel. Anyway, guys, much love. Thanks out there. All the new people and everybody that helps share this out. Anyway, we're going to play a song called Rise, because we're going to have to rise because the kids aren't going to rise. And then we're going to play another song that's our fight song. Then we'll play the victory song. I'll come join you in chat. I'll jump over on D-Live, give away the treasure chest. Anyway, guys, much love. Armor up. No fear, man. We got this light on our side. We're good to go. We'll keep on fighting. Anyway, guys, crank it up. If I can get the scene to change, we'll hit the exit music. Anyway, guys, much love out there. Here we go. Let's see if it works.